What's up everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another deck tech video, and today we have another viewer request, Plargg and Nassari viewer request. And so, just like I've mentioned in many videos before, if you want to see a commander be made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. If you have specific budget requirements or budget restrictions, drop those in the comment as well. And if there are any specific cards you want in there, you can do that as well. But without further ado, let's get right into Plargg and Nassari. So who's Plargg and Nassari? They're a combo duo up from the Aftermath set. They are a 5/4 for 3 generic and double red. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way. You may cast up to 2 spells from among the other cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So you get to pick an opponent and they get to pick one that you don't get to cast, and then you can cast the other 2. This is going to be a theft deck through and through. We're going to be doing causing a little bit of chaos, theft, all that sort of fun stuff. So how are we going to do this? This is also a medium budget deck, I would say, at $500. So we have 21 creatures. We've got Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, is a 4/4 for 4. When he dies, you can exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of turn, until the end of your next turn. You can play those cards, or you can create 3 treasure tokens. We got Avatar Roku Firebender in here. So whenever a player attacks, add 6 red mana until end of combat. You don't lose the mana as steps end. So in addition to our stuff that lets us play things for free, we also have things that let us play stuff for mana, and we need to generate lots of mana to do that. We're going to have some firebending cards in this deck, like Avatar Roku and Sozin's Comet, but we need a way to hold on to that mana, so we did add a Plargg, God of Storytelling, and Electro Assault Battery in here, so we get to keep our red mana as so long as they are alive. Please protect them, do what you can to save them, because they're going to help you cast lots of busted stuff. We have Bonehorde Dracosaur, which is a 5/5 for 5 with flying and first strike. And at the beginning of your upkeep, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile the land card this way, create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. If you exile the non-land card this way, create a treasure token. See? Pretty simple. Direfleet Daredevil. It's a 2/1 for 2 first strike. And when he enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You can cast it this turn, and mana can be spent as though it were mana of any color. If that spell would be put into the graveyard, exile it instead. We have Atali, Little Atali. It's too bad this is mono red, because otherwise we could put Big Atali in here too. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. Goldspan Dragon. So whenever it attacks or becomes a target of spell or ability, create a treasure. And treasures you control have tap and sack and add 2 instead of 1 mana of any color. We have Mindclaw Shaman. When he enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from that player's hand without paying their mana cost. So if somebody tutors and doesn't use the big thing right then and there, cast this overly costed 2/2 to see what they got, and then probably cast it yourself. We have, I hate pronouncing this card's name, Nalfeshni. Yeah, Nalfeshni is a 4/6 for 6, so a little overcosted again. This is also a good reason why we want to keep our red mana, is because some of these spells cost $1 billion. And whenever you cast a spell from exile, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. If it's a permanent spell, it gains haste, and at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice it. So when you exile these spells with all these different cards, Nalfeshni gives you a bunch of value off it. Then we have Neheb, the Eternal. Afflict 3 whenever this creature becomes blocked. Depending player loses 3 life. And at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add a red mana for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. We have Oblivion Sower. When you cast it, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards of their library, and you get to put the lands from that onto the battlefield under your control. It's also an Eldrazi. We have Pinnacle Monk, Prowess, and when it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. It is an MDFC, so you can also put it into play tapped or pay 3 for it to be untapped. Then we have the little pirate monkey, Ragavan himself, needs to come down in price, so please, please, please reprint this guy into Oblivion, because $55 is a bit much. He was, as of a couple months ago, he was like at 35 when I bought a couple copies at one of my local gaming stores, but here we are, sitting at $55. Then we have Rodeo Pyromancers. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, add double red. We have Simian Spirit Guide for some ramp. We have Stormkiln Artist, so whenever it's got Magecraft, and whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery, make a treasure. Not tapped, just a treasure. Value town. We have Struggle in Realm, which is target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library till they exile an instant sorcery or creature card. You may cast that without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature this way, it gains haste, and you sacrifice at the beginning of the end step. That's kind of like a thing in red. It's a big thing in red. That creature sack at the end of turn. Treasure Nabber to steal people's artifacts. We have Wildfire Devils. When it enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. So use like a D3, 4, D4, make one of the numbers dead. That player exiles an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. We have Wild Magic Sorcerer. First spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade, so you're going to be able to do that quite a bit. Our sorceries. We got Blasphemous Act for removal, of course. We have Call Forth the Tempest, which has Cascade, costs 8, and Call Forth the Tempest deals damage to each creature your opponent controls equal to the total mana value of other spells you've cast this turn. Pretty good overall. Then we have Cathartic Reunion. You discard 2 cards, draw 3, Dance with Calamity, shuffle your library as many times as you choose. You can exile the top card of your library. If the total mana value of the cards exiled this way is 13 or less, you may cast any number of those spells without paying their mana costs. Ensnared by the Mara. Look, it's a coral snake we have at home. Each opponent faces a villainous choice. They can exile cards from the top of the library until they exile a non-land card, and then you can cast that one, or that player exiles the top 4 cards of the library, and Ensnared by the Mara deals damage equal to the mana value of the exiled cards to that player. We have Faithless Looting, discard, draw. Hit the Mother Lode, discover 10. If the mana value is below 10, you create a number of tapped treasures equal to the difference. Mana Geyser to give you an absurd amount of red mana. Rite of Flame is there to give you mana. Sozin's Comet gives all your creatures Firebending 5 until end of turn, which is always fun. Wheel of Fate, it's not $400 Wheel of Fortune, so that's always good. Wild Guess, you discard a card, draw 2. Instance, we got Big Score. Discard, draw 2, create 2 treasures. We have Bolt Bend. You can, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it costs 3 less. So you can have it cost 1. You can change the target of a spell. Chaos Warp. Demand answers. Discard a card, draw 2. Desperate Ritual for mana. Pyretic Ritual for mana. We have Redirect Lightning. You can pay 5 life or pay 2 extra mana, change the target of spell or ability with a single target. We have Reiterate. This copies the target instant or spell, and you may choose new targets. It also has buyback at 3, so for 6 you can do that. Seething Song for ramp. Solstice Revelations. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. If the spell's mana value is less than the number of mountains you control, it is a mono-red deck. This should be pretty easy for you. If you don't cast that card, put it into your hand. It's also got flashback of 7. Throw of Possibility, discard, draw. Unexpected Windfall, discard, draw, create treasures. We have Untimely Malfunction, destroy an artifact, redirect a spell, or some creatures can't block. Wild Ricochet, choose new targets for target instant sorcery, then you copy that spell and choose new targets for that. Then we have Will's Reversal. You roll a d20. You can choose new targets for a 1 to 14, or you may choose new targets for that spell or ability, then copy it and choose new targets for that as well. Artifacts, we got 13. We got the Chaos Wand, which, exiles cards from the top of the opponent's library until they exile an instant sorcery. Then you can play that without casting or using its mana cost. Then you put the exiled cards on the bottom of their library. Oh my god, my nose itches. Sorry. We have Crawl Space here, so no more than 2 creatures may attack you each combat. Helps protect you because people don't like having their things stolen. Extraplanar Lens to essentially double your basic mountain output. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots to protect our commander and other valuable creatures. Whisper Silk Cloak also protects and gives unblockable. We have Lithoform Engine and Strionic Resonator to copy some activated or triggered, copy some triggered abilities or spells. Ruby Medallion to make our stuff cheaper. Stone of Eric is great graveyard hate. I love this card. It is a highly underrated card, and I like the simplicity of the art. We have Wand of Wonder. Tap 4, tap it, roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card, then shuffle the rest into their library. You may cast up to X instant or sorcery spells from among the exiled, from the cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. From 1 to 9, it's X is 1. 10 to 19, it's 2. 20 is 3. There you go. Pretty simple and straightforward. Enchantments, we got 3. We got Descent into Avernus. I love this card. I put this card in all my red decks. This card has also gone up in price recently. We have Passionate Archaeologist, which is commander creatures you own have. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, this creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent, which synergizes very well. And then we have Stolen Strategy, which is the beginning of your upkeep. Exile the top card of each opponent's library. Till end of turn, you can cast spells, and mana can be spent as lower mana of any color. Lands. Look at it. It's beautiful in its simplicity. We've got Scavenger Grounds for some graveyard hate. We've got Rogue's Passage to make unblockable, and we've got 33 mountains. We do have a lot of ramp in this deck, so having 35 lands, I think, is an acceptable thing, especially given how much mana ramp we have. But let me know what you think of this deck tech in the comments down below. I think that Plargg and Nassari are a very interesting combo duo to be able to make some Theft deck in mono red. But as always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.